Hello, everyone. It's time to unite the dynamite. And then you know what I mean? Unite the dynamite as the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Diggs here. Coming up here on AEW, AEW is back on the road. And I mean, back on the road with Road Rager as these phenomenal matches. As the debut of Andrade makes his AEW debut against Matt Sydal. Also, the Young Bucks defend the World Tag Team titles against Pintos, Zero Miro, and Eddie Kingston in a street fight. In mixed tag team action, Chris Sandlander teams up with her best friend Orange Cassidy to take on the team of the Bunny in the Blade. And huge six-man tag team action as well as Warlow teams up with FTR as the Pinnacle with Tony Blanchard in their corner to take on the Inner Circles, Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz with Conan in their corner. And plus with that, Cody Rhodes goes with Arn Anderson, goes one-on-one with QT Marshall. This feud have to end and must end in a South Beach scrap match. And Chris Jericho and MJF have a standoff where Chris Jericho agreed to the arrangement, the conditions to go against MJF sometime soon than later. Man, it was been a wild crowd. All this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Ring Report, and it starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Diggs here. Glad you could join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. We are live, and I mean we are live. We are live, and indeed. First thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm trying to get my so bear with me. I'm trying to get my thing together. Okay. Woo. All right. If I look like a fool or miss, hey, we're live, so I'm meant to be. So hey. All right, y'all. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. All right, let's get started with the AEW Road Rager. Road Rager was tonight, and we kick things off with Road Rager with Cody Rhodes goes one-on-one with QT Marshall. Now, this feud has been building up for months after QT Marshall felt slighted that Cody Rhodes doesn't look at him as a wrestler as he once was, but Cody had hired QT Marshall as his assistant. And QT Marshall got fed up and jealous and bitter and angry. So they put their differences aside and had a scrap match. Cody right here with the live crowd, the live audience in anticipation for the scrap match between him and QT Marshall. You can tell sometimes when you have friends that you kind of be close and they end up being bitter and jealous and angry and miserable because they feel like they ought to be up there with you, which is not the case. But Cody and QT Marshall had their match, and throughout the match, it was a black light throughout the match. Like one time, one instant, we thought that the light was just a failure of power up because they was in Miami when that hurricane. Well, it wasn't that, but we'll get to later on what had happened. But Cody beat QT Marshall in the ring. Cody got the win over QT Marshall. Long due for Cody as Cody puts the feud to the side over QT Marshall. No longer done with QT Marshall. I don't know where QT Marshall goes from here, but we just had to wait and see and anticipate what's next. Speaking of anticipating what's next, where later on in the show, Cody was trying to what Tony Schiavone did, try to do an interview with Arn Anderson, and all of a sudden the lights flickered. And when I mean the lights flickered, they flickered. And all of a sudden, Aleister Black, who known now as Malachi Black, attacked and gave Arn Anderson that kick, that devastating kick that he been doing for months, and he just came out there nowhere, and he did the same with Cody. I think Cody should have saw that coming. To be honest with you, Cody should have saw that coming. Cody, now Aleister Black, Makai Black, or whatever you want to call it, he is in AEW. Didn't see that coming. I heard reports. I heard rumors and innuendo that hey, he's coming. But he came and I was glued to him like who's next coming to AEW after being a WWE castaway. So now Aleister Black now the newest member of the AEW roster, and he's gonna make total work of what he's gonna do. We just have to see what's next for Aleister Black. It was just shocking. It was just shocking to see him coming out of nowhere, gave Arn Anderson that lethal kick, and then turned around. Cody was trying to reason with him, and then he turned around and kicked Cody in the head. So we know now what Cody Rhodes' next feud will be. His next feud will be against Aleister Black, but he calls him Makai Black. So we had to see on that. Speaking of that, speaking of that, there was the debut of Andrade in AEW. Now we know Andrade and Aleister Black got a long story feud and on WWE. Now Andrade comes to AEW. Andrade even dressing like one. I don't even know what this is. I thought it was Scarface, but it's one of these Batman characters. He dressed like Batman's villain, so he came out like that. I said, "What in the world is going on?" He came out there dressed like that. He took on Matt Sydal, and he made quick work on Matt Sydal. And I mean, he just, I mean, I mean, it was just quick work, and it was quicker than many people expected. So Andrade in the driver's seat now in AEW in tremendous condition, tremendous physical condition, tremendous shape. So Andrade now trying to make his name in AEW, and what name he's going to do in AEW going forward. Also, too, was the Chris Jericho feud and MJF. They had a face off, and you know what that means, face off standoff. Jericho won another match against MJF, and he had to find a way. MJF told him the only way you'll get a match with me is you got to go against all my members of my group. So Chris Jericho must run the gauntlet. We don't know who he will start with, but he must go against the four members of the Pinnacle, which that means Warlow, FTR, even Sean Spears, to get to MJF to have a match. So I suspect this match will go down at All Out between them two. And during before they had the face off, you see right here Jericho with this tagline: "Should let the fat be, you know what? We can't say it on television. Come in here and beat your butt is what I should have done." Well, it was a fan. It was drunk, and he tried to come in, try to attack MJF, but Chris Jericho attacked the fan before he. So I guess they were trying to have their summit, and they summit got almost ruined by a fan who just decided to come outside, come into the crowd, and try to do what he wanted to do is please. But Jericho stopped that. So kudos Jericho and kudos to MJF to not deal with that. All right. Speaking of that, we know that Heyman Adam Page is the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. His friends in the Dark Order, including even Uno, believes in him. They have the confidence in him, and they want him to go get what is his. Heyman Page really kind of a little bit unsure about himself, but Heyman Page found mustered the courage after the Dark Order did call out Kenny Omega, who came out with this I don't even know, Tiger King inspired outfit. I don't even know what to call it. But he came out there and bragged about it, and him and Don Callis talked about it when nobody left for them to defeat, and no one in AEW can beat them. Well, the Evil Uno came out there, made his case in point. Well, it was they was getting ganged up on. The Dark Order got ganged up on by Kenny and friends until Heyman Page came out there and confronted the world champion. They were once a year ago they were tag team champions, and now they're come between the lines, come between the cross that now that the world championship is in the grasp and Ken Omega has the world title. And could we see the possibility of a challenge? The challenge was almost said, you see right here, the belt standing in between them. This is what we could be seeing at All Out. Could we be crowning a new world heavyweight champion, Heyman Adam Page? It could be the possibility that many people didn't see coming, but could see coming. Heyman Page could get his shot at the world championship. But we know that next week on Fighter Fest, we will hear from Heyman Adam Page. What will he say? What will he do? Will he challenge Kenny Omega for the World Heavyweight Championship? And where we go from here? We just have to wait and see. Also, too, the huge six-man tag team match as Jake Hager teams up with Santana Ortiz with Conan in his corner to take on the Pinnacles, FTR and Warlow with Total Blanchard in their corner. Good matchup from all six guys. Heyman, Warlow, and Jake Hager got unfinished business, as you can tell. They can't stand each other. They was doing vignettes about it. If you watch the YouTube channel, they was doing that. And Heyman, not Heyman, but FTR and Santana Ortiz, they can't stand each other. That's like when you want to say tag team match of the year, you had to make that one the tag team match of the year candidates. But they came a little bit short as FTR and Warlow won, and they won in the decisive fashion. So FTR and Warlow on a winning streak with their help ace with you know with Santana Ortiz and and Jake Hager. Now I think these three men will be trying to go against Chris Jericho in their singles match, one on one, separately. So we don't know which one will go against. If I'm a betting person, I think Jericho will start out with FTR. He'll start with them one by one. One week he'll take on Dash, and one week he'll take on Cash, and then he'll get to Warlow last, and then what's his name? Forgot that man. Sean Spears will be that third opponent for Jericho to get his hands on MJF down the road. So it's going to be really kind of really good to see that. So and we also saw Dan Lambert. If you may recall who Dan Lambert is, he was in Impact Wrestling and MLW as certain mouthpieces. If you can recall the current WWE champion Lashley, when he was in Impact, Dan Lambert was his mouthpiece, his like Jimmy Hart in a way, and he had he was up there with how MVP is with Lashley and stuff. While Lashley was a champion. Well, Dan Lambert was talking about and rambling about any and everything about old school wrestling. He kind of reminds you of Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette was talking about how he doesn't like AEW. Dan Lambert was saying the same thing until Murder Hart, Lance Archer came out there and attacked Dan Lambert and put him up, right? You see right here, and dropped him down to the ground. And I think Dan Lambert, like they said, someone put this tweet right here saying Lambert is so good in case you haven't seen him in Impact or MLW. Dan Lambert is like a good mouthpiece, one of the mouthpieces of wrestling. So look for Dan Lambert to get his revenge on Lance Archer and try to get one of his boys to go against Lance Archer. We don't know who's gonna debut. Maybe they may have Braun Strowman debuting. Who knows? So Dan Lambert getting his revenge. Also, too, Orange Cassidy was in action with Chris Stanlander in a mixed tag team match against the Bunny and the Blade. Well, Orange Cassidy didn't come up short with Chris Stanlander at the Bunny and the Blade won that match. Orange Cassidy kind of looked at loopy at the end, but we hope everything's okay with Orange Cassidy going forward and stuff. And finally, the main event. The main event was the Young Bucks defend the World Tag Team titles against Pentazil Mamiro and Eddie Kingston in a street fight match. The Young Bucks even came for the occasion dressed in gangster style from straight out of Compton. They version of Scrap Compton. They came out there trying to dress to impress in their gangster attire. The Young Buck came out there trying to look impressed. They held their own for a minute. There was too much shenanigans. They tried to get one of the referees attacked. They attacked one of the referees and tried to bring out their boys to help them out. The Good Brothers. Good Brothers tried to help. Also, their aide, Brandon, forgot his name, and that other dude. And everyone tried to do, it was a lot of shenanigans, and then it was thumbtacks coming in. The thumbtacks didn't work. The Young Bucks tried everything, throwing thumbtacks at Eddie Kingston, throwing thumbtacks at Penta, trying to smash thumbtacks in him and try to get the match over with. But at the end, the Young Bucks retained their World Tag Team titles after doing their super kick to Eddie Kingston for the win. So that was the AEW Dynamite ring report. Also, like I said, Aleister Black, name is Tommy N, came out of nowhere. Even Buddy Murphy congratulated him that he was glad he was in AEW. You never know. Buddy Murphy might even join AEW. Who knows? I really did not see this coming tonight. Even his wife even made an announcement that she was proud. Now she recently came back to WWE on SmackDown. I hopefully they do right with her, but if they don't, she can come to AEW. But I mean, a talent like that, you had him in a program with Big E, and all of a sudden now it's just the program over with now. Just over with. Just hopefully they learned their lesson this time. So to me, what shocked me was this, and Dan Lambert coming out there, and I mean, it was a lot. Even them coming back to the fans, so they wanted to give the fans something to move about. So they came back in a fashion a lot of people didn't see coming. All right, that is the AEW Ring Report. Let's get to quick hot topics. Right quick on hot topics. Right now, we all saying our prayers that a lot of people, it blew up this week that WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk has dementia. We know Terry Funk, a legendary wrestler in his own right, won the NWA World Championship, competed in WWE, WCW, and ECW, and a former ECW champion is where Terry Funk was trending and about him being in a nursing home. And Terry Funk, quick to forget stuff. You got dementia and being hitting the chair all the time, you kind of forget stuff. That's and even football CTE. So that they made this little post. I don't know why they even propelled them to do that, but Terry Funk now doing well. He's in good spirits. Terry Funk saying he ain't that much in the bad dementia, but he's okay. So yeah. So it's just Terry Funk. Yep. Ooh. Terry Funk. But he will and then pray for Terry Funk. Pray for Dr. What that Paul Mr. Wonderful. Pray for him. So, a lot of the wrestling figures from the 1970s and 80s are, getting older, and how they go. So we pray for them. Also, too, this date was the 25th anniversary as the New World Order was established. If you recall from WCW, as Hulk Hogan formed the New World Order with Hall and Nash. Now we know Kevin Nash, Scott Hall had left WWE and went to WCW. Part of Eric Bischoff saying that the storyline was them returning to WCW to get revenge, but they was trying to make money too, and Hulk Hogan was there as the plan was there. So the plan came together, and they really originally had Sting in mind, but Hulk Hogan fit it like a glove. And the New World Order was formed and established on this day in 1996. Where you see Mean Gene Okerlund, the late great Mean Gene Okerlund, calling out Hulk Hogan and saying what Hulk Hogan did was wrong. It was embarrassing. But let it go. So happy birthday to the New World Order. Also, we'll tell you next week for AEW's Fighter Fest Night 1. As you see right here, Jon Moxley returns from maternity leave to take on Carl Anderson with Dolph Gallows and Don Callis in his corner. Jon Moxley defends the New Japan United States Championship. So look for that next week. Also, this bitter rivalry between Darby Allin and Ethan Page comes to a head as next week as Ethan Page takes on Darby Allin in a coffin match. Which one of these two men will go inside the coffin and their career will end forever? We have to wait and see on that. Also, Penelope Ford is in action. We should take on Yukari Shakita next week. Also, too, we'll hear from Heyman Adam Page. Will Adam Page will Adam Page want a world title match? We'll just have to wait and see if Adam Page wants the world title. Is his intent to challenge for the world title? We'll see on that. Speaking of another world title, I hate saying this, the FTW Championship, as Brian Cage, the champion, takes on Ricky Starks. Been bad blood in between Team Taz and Explode with these two men who were one of the founders, both founders of Team Taz along with Taz, and Taz can't even keep control of both of them. Ricky Starks said he needs a bodyguard everywhere he goes. Brian Cage want to tear Ricky Starks apart after Starks made comments about Cage's wife, Melissa Santos. It'll come to a head next week on Fighter Fest Night 1 for the FTW title. Look for something to go down with Team Taz. Also, too, it's been almost 23 years to the date as these two men, Matt Hardy and Christian, has history with their respective teams. Now comes to a head as 20 years later. Matt Hardy takes on Christian one-on-one, and Christian says that he wants Matt Hardy at his best, and Matt Hardy says he's going to bring his best. So this is going to be a matchup for, if you were a fan of the Attitude Era, this is your match you want to see. Seeing Matt Hardy and Christian. All right. So that ends the Pro Wrestling Show. Not predict the outcome, but Pro Wrestling Show AEW Ring Report. Why I say predict the outcome? It's going to be another pay-per-view coming soon, so that's why I said it. So for me being Kendrick Dick says so long. Have a great night. Happy wrestling. See you later.